Hello, everybody, and welcome to this vlog edition of Mr. J's Geek Corner. Place we talk about anything and everything that is geek, whether it be TV, comics, movies, or video games. And as y'all know, last week they finally debuted the new first look at the new costume from the new Supergirl TV series. And I'm gonna say, I for one am really excited about this. And I was excited to hear they're actually going to make a Supergirl, another Superman related show, period. Ever since they announced they were going to do Krypton, I don't know how that's going, but when they announced they were going to do this, I was like, well, if they could do it in the same vein as The Flash, and the same vein as The Flash, this is definitely going to be a good show. And so far, they're on the right track with this costume. He said it was designed by the same guy who created the new Flash costume and Arrow's costume. And I will just say, I really like this costume. I mean, if you've seen it by now, you know what it looks like. But if you haven't, go look it up. You won't be disappointed. I mean, to me, it has a very much a taste of the classic Supergirl. I mean, the skirt, the way the skirt looks, the way the top of the costume looks, the cape. The boots are definitely different in that they don't particularly look like a superhero costume kind of boot design. But I'm going to say it still looks pretty good. But everything else on the costume looks very much the original, except it looks very much a classic Supergirl, except for the fact that the costume is darker color, like the Man of Steel costume is. It's darker colors, and the S shield, as you can see with this part of the S shield here, there's yellow around it. Well, instead of yellow with maybe a little bit of a black trim to it, or just yellow inside to it, you can actually see the blue part of the costume with a little bit of a yellow trim to it. And me, I can overlook that a little bit. I mean, if it's just something that minute, then, but it's still, to me, it's still like a classic Superman S shield. Like the classic S shield. Looks nothing like that gracious, garish, awful, that graciously awful, garish New 52 Supergirl costume. I mean, that thing is terrible. But this costume here looks very much classic Supergirl. If you look back in the 80s and everything, or even look at the Supergirl movie, it looks very much like that costume. I mean, I think that's very, very much what inspired it, was the costume from the 80s. I mean, and the Supergirl costume, mainly from the movie, you might as well say. I think that was the biggest inspiration for this suit, and I'm glad they went that direction, because I've always liked that design. And matter of fact, they even used a variation of that design in the 90s. I've always loved that design, because it looks more like a feminine Superman costume. And like I said, I'm glad they went the direction they did, and just by seeing the costume, and like I said, she looks like Supergirl, how she ought to look. And I'm going to say it, just by seeing these first two pictures of the costume, of her in costume, I already have a ray of hope for this show. That it's going to work, and it's going to be a good show. And like I said, I hope it's a good show. I'm definitely going to be watching it when it starts coming on this fall. I cannot wait for it to come on. Because I said that'll be probably the only other show I watch on regular television, other than The Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and old episodes of Adventures of Superman and the old Batman show. And Star Trek. But what do y'all think of this new costume? Have you seen it yet? What do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you wish they could have changed one little iota about it? Let me know. And as always, drop your comments in the comment box. I would love to hear what y'all have to say about this. And I guess that's all for this week's edition of Mr. J's Geek Corner. And as always, if you have any comments about the show whatsoever, drop me a comment in the comment box. Like, subscribe, share, and tell with all your friends. If you have any ideas about things you want to hear me talk about on the show, drop me a comment in the comment box. I'm always looking for fresh new topics and fresh new things to talk about on the show. So definitely drop me a comment in the comment box. I would love to hear your ideas. I would love to hear what you hear what kind of ideas you have, and you never know when they may be made into an episode of Mr. J's Geek Corner. So definitely send me your ideas. I would love to hear from you and love to hear your ideas. And I'll see y'all next time.